Alrighty guys, welcome back to the vlog. So we are actually, yikes, I don't have a holder, so it's gonna be kind of shaky, but we're back for the day after the last video for the Caprice. So we're actually in the Miata right now, and this car is actually going for Smog, as it's probably in the title. So here's the thing, this car should pass Smog, but it has had a history of not being able to pass Smog the first time around. So the problem with this car is the gas cap, or basically the gas tank in general. When it's hot, it gets pressurized, and when it's pressurized, it won't pass Smog. So, or at least when it has really high pressure. So it's just because of the heat, and it's 100 degrees today. I'm roasted in here, so I'm gonna try to make this quick so I can turn on the AC. Plus I have to grab some gas because this car is hella low on gas. I have a little more than a quarter tank, and the way that, as far as I know, cars before 2000 have to be run on a dyno, so they're gonna probably be using quite a bit of gas to do it. So I'm probably gonna put like $10 or $15 in. Plus it's pretty far where I have to go, so I'm gonna try to get this done as quick as possible, just so that I don't have to waste any extra time. Plus I have a fish. I don't know if you guys know that, but if you follow me on Snap, you probably do. But yeah, my boy Phil, he needs some tank mates and he needs some new food. I'm going on a 1-week trip in a couple of weeks, so I need to be able to feed him while I'm gone. So I'm just gonna get him a little block of food, and then he'll keep eating off of it for almost 7 days or something like that, which is as long as I'm gone, so that's perfect. I think you can go up to 4 days without feeding him, so even if it does run out after a couple of days, he'll still be fine by the time I come back. So without further ado, we're gonna head to the Smog shop, and then I will give you guys an update once we get there. Real quick before I leave, as you guys can see, the airbag light, it's not doing it right now, but the airbag light's blinking because the clock spring is broken. But luckily there's no check engine light or anything. Pressures look, the oil pressure looks good. I don't know what's the thing with the thermostat, but it doesn't, or whatever sends the signal to the temperature gauge, it never reads properly, so it always says that the car's warm like 30 seconds after starting it. But luckily with these cars, if it's pre-2000, you don't need to actually drive the car 50 miles after the battery's been removed, because this car's battery has a tendency to die. So it's good that I can avoid doing that. And then hopefully this airbag thing's not an issue because it's a clock spring. As you guys can see, this is technically straight on the steering wheel. I tried to fix it yesterday, I didn't record it, but basically like you remove the 10mm bolts behind the airbag, pull out the airbag, undo the bolt for the steering wheel, and then reset the steering wheel with the clock spring, and then bolt it back in. But because the clock spring's broken, I can't get it right, so I need to replace it with the clock spring that I actually have in the garage, and then it should be golden. But for now, we're gonna head over there, and I will catch you guys at the Smog shop. You can hear me over the wind, but I'm back at home because this car decided to go ahead and like start to overheat. It got to like 3/4 of the way to the hot side, so I'm just bleeding the coolant for now. Just got to figure out what it is, and then maybe checking the motor oil to see how much is in there. But yeah, I'm hoping that bleeding it will fix it. I was running the AC, so that's probably why it was also overheating. Alright, so I bled the system. It kept on pushing out the new fluid. So that means it's full. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that this will be okay for the drive to the Smog station, PetSmart, and Petco. Alright, so we're back. It's now 5:22. It's actually been about 2 hours since I've been home. I totally forgot that I was making a video today. So, also, I don't know if I already said this, but I hope you guys can hear me alright. If not, I'll have to re-record this clip later. But again, totally forgot I was recording a video today. So the Miata, surprisingly, did pass Smog. It does need a new gas cap, but the guy told me like it's not a big deal right now because it's not, what's it called? Because he said he had a replacement for me, so he replaced it. For free, actually. He said that a customer left it, they didn't want it, and theirs was perfectly fine. So, good for me, because those gas caps are, what, like $10, $15? I mean, it's not that much, but it's rather something that I don't want to replace. Anyways, car passed, flying colors. Dude said those were like the lowest emission numbers he's ever seen, which is surprising because that car is pretty old, and he ran it on the dyno. I mean, it was only like 15 miles per hour and then 25 miles per hour. So it wasn't like he was gunning on it or anything, but it is a really slow car. Driving this car versus driving that car, you can tell it's a really big difference. I finally appreciate my 300 horsepower, even though it's making nowhere near that. It's probably, what, like 250, 260. Anyways, now that I'm done blabbering about that, I have these. I know they're blue, they're supposed to be black, whatever, but those are valve cover gaskets for this car. I believe almost a year ago, maybe 6 months ago, I took off the driver's side valve cover for some reason, I don't know, and it was just caked on there. I don't think it's ever been replaced, and the car has 123,000 miles, and it's just never been replaced. So it just cracked and it ripped as soon as I pulled up the cover. Now the passenger side is completely fine. That one, it's completely OEM. It hasn't had any issues. And when I pulled it out, when I did the nightmare install, which was the the gallery gaskets, that one was totally fine. It didn't have any problems. It came straight up. It didn't have any holes or anything. So I did the ghetto fix on the driver's side. I just put a little bit of gasket maker in like the little crack that was there, because I put it back together and I was hoping that it would reseal together, but it didn't. So I had to take it apart again and then do all the valve, what's it called? Well, I had to pull off the entire intake manifold and then the valve cover, all the spark plug, not spark plugs, but the coil packs. Had to pull all of that out, and then I was finally able to replace, or just basically put some gasket maker on it. Only problem is these valve cover gaskets are hella expensive. They're like $50 for both of them if you get the Felpro ones. Now, obviously, I didn't go for the Felpro ones. These ones were like 10 bucks or something from somewhere in SoCal. I ordered these 2 days ago, and they're here today. So I wasn't planning on doing this today. I was actually planning on doing it tomorrow, but because of how short this video was going to end up being, I decided to do it today and should bring you guys along for the process. This one's really simple. I got the intakes, pull out the throttle bodies, take out, or I guess you could leave in the throttle bodies, but it would give you limited space. So you pull out the throttle bodies and you remove the intake manifold, the upper intake manifold, and then you remove basically all 6 of the coil, or I don't know if I'm gonna do both sides or what, but I know I have to remove all 3 of the coil packs on the left side, and then I'll go ahead, take all the 10 mil bolts out. There's one death bolt in like the bottom left corner, well, from where I'm sitting, so it would be the bottom right of the valve cover. I'll show you guys once we get over there, but that one's just a complete nightmare, and hopefully I have the will to actually do it today. Noise, but I got out the driver's side, which is the problem side. As you guys can see right here, that is cracked right there, and that's where it was leaking from. I hope. Whew, out of breath. That was a lot of work. Okay, and then I removed the seal too. Those are for the camshaft position sensors. Fun fact, those two are exactly the same. So even if you don't know which one went where, they're literally the exact same one. So plug them in and just make sure that the plugs are correct. So now I'm gonna go ahead and open this new bag and double check to see if they fit properly. This one looks almost basically completely identical to that black one. The blue is just gonna set it off a little bit more. So I'm gonna go ahead and strip this one out and put the new one in. All right, and just like that, new gasket is installed. I kind of freaked out because that one didn't fit properly, but then I realized it's probably the other one. So now, yeah, everything is completely seated. So now just going to reverse the process of installation and go ahead and set everything back together. And then these should be, I mean, they should be literally the same on both sides. So I'm gonna go ahead and reinstall this. hopefully there isn't too much wind noise, but as you guys saw, I rolled the car back a couple inches just to make sure that there's no spots on the floor currently. So I got everything off of the engine that could be potentially hazardous or that could get hot. So we're gonna go ahead and prime and start. Oil pressure's looking good. Low battery warning. All right. I mean, that looks really good. It is a cold start. The car is completely cold. Okay, let's hop out and check. Moment of truth. Good from underneath. Visual inspection from the top looks good. As you guys can see, those are the bits of oil that it was dropping. It dropped another one right here, but that doesn't pertain to the current issue. So it's warming up. It's only been about 2 minutes since I started it. So I'm gonna go ahead, shut off the camera. If anything happens, I'll pick it back up. But it seems like this job was a success. I'm just gonna clean the undercarriage and see if there are any oil marks. That could be an issue. All right, again, hopefully there isn't too much wind noise, but everything looks copacetic. No check engine lights, no oil draining, no low oil pressure, because it's supposed to be around 15, which is the between the 0 and the half or the first little bar. So we're looking good on that front. Car's at idle operating temperature. Now, because I unplugged the throttle body, we have idle learn reset, something like that. I don't remember. There's a nice video by this dude, Motordyne G35 on YouTube. His tutorial is amazing. Literally just watch the video and do exactly what he does while he's doing in the video, and it'll make perfect sense. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then I will go ahead and outro the video. Okay, so I completely buttoned everything up on the front end, put all the plastics back on, the stabilizing bar, all that, letting the car get back up to temp. I also put 5 gallons into it because your boy was running low. And yeah, temperature's getting up there, but the oil pressure still looks good. I didn't see any drips on the floor. All right, so if you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave a like rating on it. And if you want to see more content with this car, one of the other cars, please make sure to subscribe. And basically, I just do car work in my garage, and I'm looking into getting a GoPro so I can do like a head mount footage for you guys, like driving and for doing installs and stuff like I did today. Because obviously I really could not find a place to set up this phone for a time lapse. There was just no place that was high enough to see everything, and it was just miserable. I liked having it in the garage because then I could just put it on the garage door. But a GoPro would definitely be helpful in filming and doing literally everything, because I hate having to use my phone. It takes up a lot of storage, and it's just, overall, it's not great. So I'm gonna repark this car, but I will catch you guys in the next video.